Okay, I'm hoping it's live now. If anyone can see me and confirm it's live, please give a thumbs up. Perfect. So, am I clearly audible and seen, visible? And if the video quality is fine, then I'll start with my topic for today, which is melasma. Perfect. Cool. So I'm getting messages that everyone can see me, hear me clearly. And so today we're going to be talking about a very, very common topic that everyone is troubled about. And I'm sure if you don't have it, one of your family member or someone has it, and you definitely want to know answers today. So that's melasma, commonly known in Hindi as chaya, and there are so many different treatment options available for it, and so many people wondering which is the right one for it or how do you go about it. So today I'm going to be answering all your questions, and you can let me know if you have any further queries about it too. Okay, so I'll just give up a brief up about melasma before we start receiving the questions, and as the questions come in we can tackle each one of them. So, melasma, as we know, there are many causes behind it. It's very easy to diagnose, and you can easily see it as pigmented patches present. It could be present, on the nose, on the cheeks. It could be present on the jawline. So it's very commonly seen too, seen as lightish brown color or darkish brown color patches. Now, surprisingly, it's seen more with if someone is darker, they're more prone to get it. It's not like if someone is fairer, they get it more. So if someone is darker, the darker population gets it even more. And till date in the market, there are a lot of treatments available. Some people, go and take over the counter medicines for it. Sometimes that's even making it worse. Some treatments, when you take, or some creams, when you try, it actually worsens your melasma. Some creams work well for it, or they're very slow for it. So today I'm going to be explaining why that happens and how you should choose your cream and how you can tackle it in a multiple approach. Like, you don't need to just stick to one therapy, you need to combine a lot of therapies, and that's how you can tackle your melasma. Okay, good evening everyone who's messaging me. Thank you for joining in. Perfect. So what are the different causes of melasma? Now, melasma could be hormonal, which is if you have, maybe if you are taking some OC pills, or the most common cause for melasma is pregnancy. We see it very commonly in India that some women, when they get pregnant, maybe in the first trimester itself, they develop melasma. And few of these women, the melasma is temporary. So the minute the hormones get back to control, maybe after a year of pregnancy, the melasma disappears on its own. And sometimes in some patients it does not go. So hormones play a very important role, and if there's imbalance in the hormones, melasma does occur. Other things that are there, some people have it genetic. If your parents have it, or if it's there in the family, then you can get melasma. And a lot of people have hormonal imbalance. Suppose it's thyroid, and thyroid is known to occur, and there are a few studies also that prove that thyroid can give melasma. In my personal experience, I've seen that iron deficiency or a low hemoglobin level is associated with a lot of people with pigmentation, and then sometimes it does give melasma also. And so there are so many different reasons behind it, and sometimes when you start a treatment for melasma, you need to know why you got it. You need to actually investigate and find out why you're getting it. So I usually suggest to get your hemoglobin done, to check your vitamin B12 levels, vitamin D level, to check your liver function tests and your thyroids. And also, if you have some history of hormonal imbalance, get that checked too. So this is like a brief. When you start with treatment of melasma, you should have some background history of how it goes about and how you can actually know the reason behind it, so you know how to tackle it. Yeah. So let's see if we have any questions till now. So if you have any questions about melasma or any type of pigmentation, or if you've tried any cream Do share with me and I'll be happy to guide you with it. So few questions that are asked very often with melasma are that do we need, like, will the cream just work, or do I need to use a sunscreen also along with it? So no matter what treatment you use for any type of pigmentation, you have to use a sunscreen along with it. If you don't use a sunscreen along with it, it may actually worsen your melasma. So always, whenever you get a, if you start a depigmenting cream, or even if you're thinking of getting maybe some treatments or chemical peels, you need to at least use a sunscreen along with it whenever you're even thinking of getting a treatment started. Secondly, the basic treatments which we start with are obviously using creams. Now, the gold standard cream, which is known all over the world, is hydroquinone. Hydroquinone is a very, very controversial compound because it does work, definitely works, and it shows great results in melasma. But few patients may actually misuse it, use it for a very long time, and actually worsen their melasma. So sometimes when you use hydroquinone at a higher percentage, suppose 4% hydroquinone, and you use it for maybe 3 months or more continuously, you can actually get darker pigmentation, which is known as exogenous ochronosis, and it can make the melasma. It's not actually melasma, but it is a different type of pigmentation which is much more stubborn. So that is a side effect that you definitely want to avoid. So if you're using hydroquinone, make sure you're using just 2%, not higher than that. And make sure you're using sunscreen with it. And hydroquinone, actually, in few countries, it's already banned. Like UK, USA, and Japan, it's already banned. So earlier in my practice, when I was in medical college, I used to write it very frequently. But nowadays, when I'm in private practice, I actually write it much lesser because it does have few side effects. And sometimes people, if you don't use it the right way, it can lead to a lot of irritation. It can actually lead to a lot of it can actually irritate the skin much more when you start with it. So whenever you start with hydroquinone, you should always use it for a lesser time. Use it just for like 2 hours initially and then make it overnight after a week. So that's how it works. And preferably use it under a doctor's prescription. It can be combined with a lot of medicines, but I personally feel it's already so allergenic, like it already makes your skin so irritated, and if you're going to combine it with something, it may actually worsen. So I am not in favor of hydroquinone combined with steroids or retinoids. I prefer if it's plain, but only if it's very stubborn, then I give hydroquinone for just some time, not for a very long time. So we have lots of questions coming in. Okay, so the people asking they have melasma since 1 year, please suggest a good cream and sunscreen. So if you have melasma since 1 year, it's better first you find out why you got melasma. You check how many hours you're staying in the sun, and if you were staying in the sun for a very long time, or even if there's too much sun coming into your house also, so you need to use a good sunscreen firstly. Secondly, if you have it since 1 year, and I also need to know if you've used any other creams along with it. So, we know what cream is working or what's not working, and we can go stronger. I personally am a big fan of the Dermaceutic anti-spot kit. So, not that I'm talking for them, but I use it a lot in my clinic. And I really like the entire kit, which has the vitamin C in it, which has the Mela cream in it. And Mela cream has azelaic acid, arbutin, and it works very well for melasma without giving any irritation. So if any of my patients are watching, they do know that I prescribe this cream very, very often, and it gives great results, and I never have a headache with irritation or something with it, and it still works. So that's something that I like about that cream. So hi Kanchan, doctor, do I have freckles and wrinkles on face? Which treatment is useful as I'm using sunscreen and depigmenting creams? Okay, so if you have freckles, I normally suggest, if you want to know a cream, then you could try glycolic acid based creams, which would help as a mild depigmenting cream also, and give a little rejuvenation. You can use a vitamin C serum in the morning, but the treatment that definitely does work for freckles is Q-Switch ND-YAG laser. So you need to get it done at least once a month, initially for the first 4 to 5 months, and then maybe you can give a gap if you want. It's one treatment that really helped me for my freckles, and I don't have them now. So I would suggest, instead of wasting your time and money on creams, go and get the Q-switch Nd:YAG laser done, because it definitely gives results. And don't expect results in one sitting. Stay persistent and continue your treatment, so that will definitely help you with your freckles. And I think it's there in all the cities right now. It's pretty common, so I don't know where you're staying, but that should help. And for the wrinkles, you need to think of Botox, because, or it depends. If it's very fine wrinkles, then any topical retinoid would help. But if the wrinkles are dynamic and it's seen on the crow's feet or on the forehead, you should consider botulinum toxin for them, because that is something that's very sure shot and would help. Hi Meenakshi. Doctor, I have dark spots around the forehead and I'm using Kojic cream, but it's not completely cured. Okay, so if I'm assuming dark spots around the forehead means this area. Okay, so when you get dark spots around this area, it could have multiple diagnoses also. It may not just be dark spots like you're saying. Sometimes you can, it depends. You may have something called acanthosis nigricans, which can come here. It's related to being overweight if that's the case, or sometimes it's even genetic, that the skin appears a little thicker on this area. So when this happens, you need to use a little ablative laser to reduce the thickness, and along with that a depigmenting cream. When you pair the two treatments, it works well. You will also have to take maybe systemic therapy depending on how severe that is. Sometimes it could actually, if you're using a hair dye, even the reaction starts, PIH starts showing on this areas, which needs to be treated. Kojic acid, personally, I feel just using plain kojic acid is a very, very mild. I'm not very in favor of it. It's very mild. If the spots are very dark, you need to use something stronger. And kojic acid maybe can be used as a maintenance cream. So you can try a much stronger, maybe retinoid based cream would help, because it would help the penetration of your penetration of the depigmenting cream much more. So I would suggest a combination cream with retinoid in it would help you in having dark spots treated on this area, because sometimes related to sweating, so you need to decrease the sweating and retinoid helps that. How do you, okay, so Mr. Rajesh has asked me for home remedies for melasma. I don't think they work, okay, because there are a lot of people that say DIY masks for home and they give like lemon juice and stuff, but that can actually irritate your pigmentation way further, and I would not recommend it, or recommend for you in trying it out, because I personally have seen a lot of patients who come with reactions and irritations when they are using some home remedy for melasma. Melasma is a very, very stubborn condition, so it needs strong creams. None of the home products that you're going to use are going to work on it, because they're not that strong. And if you're going to try to use them, like you're going to try to use it for a long time or something, it may actually irritate your skin and give you a reaction. So don't play with your skin and get professional help. Okay. So Ashish has asked me, ma'am, 2 to 3 years back, due to an accident, I'm sorry to hear that, I had face puffiness and dark circles around the eyes. Somebody suggested me to go for fillers, but it's too costly. Please suggest me suitable treatment. Okay, so if you have puffiness and dark circles, okay, now firstly we need to see why you're getting the dark circles. What you can do is you can stretch the skin under the eye and see if the pigmentation becomes better. So I'm asking this because, is the dark circle because of a shadow, or is there actually some pigment there? If there is some pigment there, you can use a depigmenting cream with maybe arbutin or licorice extract or miquinol or vitamin C, something that is strong also and works to first decrease the pigmentation. If you feel there is hollowing over there, then definitely it needs to be filled up. So if you're thinking of fillers, and if you feel that's expensive, firstly, there are many fillers available in the market, and it's not that all of them are going to be expensive. Secondly, if you're looking for a more permanent basis, because fillers is temporary, you can think of fat grafting, which is something that's actually depends on where you're getting it done, and that's how the cost matters. But fat grafting may last even permanent basis. So technically speaking, over the long run, it will be much more economical. I hope that helps your question. Okay, uh, so Mr. Reddy has asked me, doctor, which is better treatment for melasma, laser or topical creams? Interesting. I feel topical creams. Okay, laser helps as an adjuvant, and there are very few lasers that work on melasma. If you don't use the right laser, it may actually worsen your melasma. So make sure you choose a good, you go to a good experienced doctor. And topical creams work wonderful. If you combine the two, that's the best. Okay, because sometimes pigmentation is not just melasma. You may have uneven skin tone, you may have some freckles along with it. So the laser is actually going to definitely help the other situation and make your face look clearer. Melasma also decreases a lot with laser, but it needs to be done by an experienced person. You cannot use any ablative laser or something that's going to, remove the first layer of the skin, because that may actually lead to a higher pigmentation when it heals. So take care about that and choose the laser and the doctor with a lot of experience and carefully. So then you're in safe hands. So creams is just that it's much more easier and the side effect part would be lesser. That's why I would say creams. Okay, so are peel procedures safe? My hands are darker compared to my face, and I have been suggested to go for a peel. I think peels are definitely safe, and if you're going in for a superficial peel or a mid peel, it's fine. Try to stay away from the deeper peels or something that's between the mid to deeper peels, or that cause a lot of peeling, because the main problem with peels is that if you don't use a sunscreen after it, it can make your pigmentation worse. So peels are definitely safe, but it depends on how you are going to deal with it. If you're going to deal with it well, then they definitely go ahead, because pigmentation on the hands, peels is a good option. When you apply a cream or something, it just gets over and so fast. That peels is something that will give you much more faster action also, and also it'll be stronger. That's why. Okay, so the next question is that, doc, I've been using hydroquinone and tretinoin combination for brown spots and freckles on my skin. Should I use it on alternate days for a month? So if you've already used it for maybe a month now, I suggest that now, whenever you're stopping hydroquinone, it's better you make it alternate day and then you stop it. Don't stop it directly. So what you're thinking is the right way of going about it. Make sure that you're using a sunscreen with it also, always. And do not stop the sunscreen part. Continue that. Sometimes some patients, when you're trying to stop a medicine, their pigmentation actually becomes worse. So I mean, it not worse, but it just tends to come back. So in such patients, normally I tell them to take a procedure like a chemical peel or laser whenever they are decreasing their medicines or decreasing their creams. That really helps. Doctor, what is the combination that can be used for good results in melasma? Okay, so see, there are three treatments in melasma. Firstly is using creams. Secondly, there are oral medicines like tranexamic acid, and using nutritional supplements if you have iron deficiency or if you have any vitamin deficiency. And thirdly, there are the procedures. So you can actually use a combination of these three treatments. When we talk about procedures, I mean in clinic procedures with the doctor. So that could be maybe chemical peels or lasers or mesotherapies. So these really help, and you can combine three treatments to decide what works best for you. Okay. Doc, do eye mask help to reduce melasma? Now, eye mask, if you're doing, firstly, I am assuming you're talking about, I'm a little confused because this eye mask is going to be put over here and the melasma is on your face. So I'm confused how it's going to work. So anyways, I don't think that any eye masks work for, or any masks for that sake work for melasma. Okay. What is the best treatment for pigment related spots? Okay, so if you have pigmented spots, I've already spoken about it. I would suggest start with the cream, at least as of now. Usually melasma is not a spot, so first I need to know why you're developing spots. Maybe it's because of some, pimples or something that happened, so that could be the reason behind it. And we just have to study. I need to see you to exactly give you the treatment for pigment related spots. But pigmented spots can mean a lot of things. Ma'am, if you don't want to use hydroquinone in melasma, then what is the safe treatment you will suggest? Okay. So if I don't want to use hydroquinone, which I usually don't use these days, or I avoid using these days, because sometimes with hydroquinone, it's very important that the patient comes back to me. I can't just say, okay, take it. And, nowadays with the lockdown and with everything, it's really unpredictable, and I'm not sure when the patient will follow up with me. So I prefer using more of natural ingredient medicines or creams. I prefer giving my patient a combination of azelaic acid, which is, I feel, the strongest one out of this basket, arbutin, licorice extract, and you have a lot of creams available with all of this that helps. Even glycolic acid. Sometimes I combine two creams. I give them glycolic acid cream initially, and then you wash it off and then apply a night cream and sleep. In the morning, they can use a vitamin C based serum. So even vitamin C, a lot of people underestimated. If vitamin C is about 25%, it actually works well in melasma also. And there are few vitamin C's available, about 25%. Very few of them, and very few of them are good. Definitely Dermaceutics has a very good range of vitamin C's. So you can try that. They're pricey, but they're really worth it. So I'm going to add that too. So Samir wants to know what makes melasma worse. Not using a sunscreen makes the melasma worse. A lot of blue light, like nowadays what we have, our laptops and in mobiles and all, could also make your melasma worse. Hormone imbalance could make it worse. Thyroid disorders, or if you're using too much of scrubbing, or if you're using a very strong cream also, sometimes cosmetics also using some strong exfoliating creams can also make it worse. Hydroquinone or kojic acid, which is best for melasma? So hydroquinone is better for melasma, but it has more side effects. So that's why kojic acid is also a good option. It's difficult to choose. It depends if you want fast results, and if you are under supervision, then go for hydroquinone. If you are not under supervision and you're going to try some self remedy, then go for kojic acid. Okay. You're most welcome, everybody, to whoever I've answered. And okay, so Sunita's asked me, I have black lesions on the face due to a hair dye. I have taken many peels like glycolic peel and chemical peels. I am suffering from this disease for 4 years. Please suggest. Okay, thank you, Sunita, for this question, because it is so important that everybody understands that when you get a lot of people think they have a allergic reaction to a hair dye, but sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's a disease or a skin problem called lichen planus pigmentosus. I mean, in my clinic, 80% of the time when somebody says they have an allergic reaction to the hair dye, it's usually this problem, especially if you have it since 4 years. So you need to get some professional help for it. Usually when you have LPP, that is lichen planus pigmentosus, it doesn't go off very easily. That doesn't work. These melasma medicines don't work for it. You need to get laser treatments for it. And Q-switch Nd:YAG is the only laser that helps. And you'll need multiple sittings, at least 6 to 12 sittings to get some results. And it should be a good laser too. Okay. So only that is going to help this type of pigmentation. It usually shows on this area and on the jawline. This type of pigmentation which you're saying, you can identify it because it looks grayish. It doesn't look like normal melasma. So that's why reason when most people think it's because of the hair dye, because it just matches the color of the hair dye. But it could be lichen planus, so you should get it checked once rather than self-treating it. And go to a doctor who has a Q-switch Nd:YAG laser, because then he'll be able to help you even better. Okay, doctor, can you suggest any treatment for acanthosis? If there's any serums or creams? Acanthosis is very stubborn. Okay, so serums and creams, I don't think will work. What works the most is first reduction of weight. The minute you reduce weight, acanthosis will actually disappear and become much better. You need something, you can try deeper peels. TCA peels also help in acanthosis, and lasers also, ablative lasers help in acanthosis. some chemical peels work wonderful in them. So you definitely, I suggest, visit a dermatologist and find out about it, find out why you're having it also, and work on the obesity issues, and that should help you out. I know obesity is so difficult to treat, but if you're talking about acanthosis, then you have to go the hard way, but that will be the most permanent cure that I could say for it. Okay, so I'm getting some topics about hair fall also, and I'm just going to say I have mild hair fall. Any precautions to reduce it? Please check your hemoglobin levels. Firstly, I've seen that in Indian population, low iron is usually the cause for everything that we are suffering from. So please check your hemoglobin level. And mild hair fall, so then just make sure you're using a sulfate-free shampoo and conditioner also, and you may use some nutritional supplements along with it. So that should help you. Okay. Okay, so doctor, I have recently developed pigmentation patches above both my eyebrows on forehead. What can I do to get rid of it? So I'm assuming this area, right? So you can continue the same treatment for melasma. In women, what happens is that usually when they get their threading done, whether it's the upper lip or the eyebrows, they, after getting the threading done, if you don't use a sunscreen, it can make your pigmentation worse. So make sure you use a sunscreen whenever you get any treatment done or you're getting anything done on your face, because that's when the skin is really red, and whenever skin is red and you go in the sun, it pigments. This concept people really need to understand, because sometimes even you have pimples and they're red, and you go in the sun, or you just scratch them and you go in the sun, and then you say that I'm getting marks on them and it's becoming black. It's not because it's becoming black on its own, it's because you didn't take care of it. You went in the sun, you didn't use a sunscreen, and it became worse. So make sure whenever your face is even slightly red, you are using a sunscreen. Ma'am, I'm using the sunscreen regularly, but my skin is still dull. Okay, so if your skin is still dull, if you're using a sunscreen, you need to make sure that there's there's no nutritional or other problems, and also you need to exfoliate your skin. So skin basically sheds itself every. There is a period where the skin lasts, and then it sheds itself. If this skin shedding is not happening, that's when the skin starts looking dull or looking tanned. So to avoid tanning, you need to have regular exfoliation, which you can do with a chemical peel or using a glycolic acid or azelaic acid based cream, which is a safer option, or a retinol, which works excellent. And those things will help you in maintaining your skin tone. Also use a salicylic acid based face wash, which will help balance the oil on the face. Sometimes when your face is very oily on one side, and then that's just when the forehead looks oily. Sometimes, if you don't balance the oil content of your face, that's also another reason for the face looking dull. And your diet also. Okay. What about glutathione? This is I think a topic that's asked in all the live sessions, which is glutathione. Oral topical injectables which work. What about whether it works or not? Okay. So it works for some, it does not work for some. Sometimes oral does not work for some and injectable works for them. But the bottom line is it's all temporary. Okay. So even if you do try glutathione, you should know that it's temporary and it's not permanent. And I am not usually in favor of glutathione unless on and on, it's not unless and until there's someone who has a wedding or something, and they're like, I need very fast results, and they want to try everything. Then we give them everything that's possible so that they can see the maximum result. But we do make them aware that it's not going to last long. The minute you stop the glutathione, it will all get reversed back. So those are my views. A lot of people have different views about it, but those are my views on glutathione. Can we use chemical sunscreen melasma? Yes, you can use a chemical sunscreen in melasma. There's no such issue as, there are a lot of people who say chemical sunscreen, physical sunscreen. I myself am in favor of physical sunscreens, but there is nothing wrong with the chemical sunscreen. It may be less protectant. It may have a little allergenic properties if you have sensitive skin. If you don't have sensitive skin, it's okay if you use it. It's fine. They are more economical also, actually. How does mesotherapy really work on the face? Ma'am, there is a doctor who asked me for nanopore procedures for facial rosacea. So I am not sure what nanopore procedure is, because some doctors, they tend to give their own name to the procedure. There's no such procedure in our textbook, but I'm assuming that they're going to do mesotherapy or with the micro needling. Does it work for melasma? So if you're using the right mesotherapy cocktail, it works in some. Okay, I have tried it and it works in some patients. In some patients I felt it actually didn't work, so we do give a trial. And I feel if patients have a tendency to tan a lot, I don't give this treatment, because then many times when we do the whole mesotherapy and they have that redness and they're not using a sunscreen, it can actually worsen their pigmentation. So we have to counsel them a lot, make them aware that this treatment is going deeper. So you need to use a sunscreen. Without that, it's just going to worsen your melasma. So make sure you do that. And mesotherapy cocktails sometimes have tranexamic acid. They're very nice and they work well, but just be cautious about it. Okay? For facial rosacea, I would not. I'm sorry, I missed the last part of your question, which was facial rosacea. So, for facial rosacea, I would not recommend mesotherapy, because rosacea is something that makes it very, very, very sensitive. So, you need to just take care of it. Okay. Doctor, you suggested me to use sunscreen after any procedure. What property should I look in them to choose the best one? So if you want the best sunscreen, you need to choose about 30 SPF. You need to choose for zinc oxide, and you need to see zinc oxide. You need to see if it's nanoparticles of zinc oxide, because then you won't get the whitish tone that happens with sunscreens. So zinc oxide is some compound which is present in physical sunscreens and is very helpful. So you can definitely use a zinc oxide sunscreen. And now another part on sunscreens which helps is tinted sunscreens. Okay, so tinted sunscreens have titanium dioxide. So if you use a tinted sunscreen, titanium dioxide is another mineral based sunscreen compound, and also helps in decreasing pigmentation also to some extent. So you can use something which is a physical sunscreen and or a mineral based sunscreen which is a little tinted. So that would help you. And you can choose it on your own. So if you have oily skin, then use a gel based, or use a compact based one. If you have very dry skin, then you can use a lotion based sunscreen or something with hyaluronic acid in it. So that would help. Okay, I regularly travel since my job demands it. I don't have pigmentation as of now, but can be developed. So please avoid how I can avoid pigmentation. So if you maintain a regular skincare routine, you can use a good sunscreen. Use vitamin C and as a serum, which helps in as an antioxidant. And I would suggest maybe once a month some exfoliation would help, like a chemical peel would help to maintain your skin. These basic things, if you take care, it should be fine. So just, I think a sunscreen and vitamin C as of now is good, because I wouldn't suggest to get out of your house for chemical peels right now. So home care wise, these two things would help you out, and maintaining a good diet also. Okay, I think I've answered most of the questions and about melasma. And if you have any further, I finished all the questions that were there. So if any further questions, please do let me know. And before I conclude, I would like to say that remember three things when you want to treat melasma. So firstly, you try to find the cause. You try to find why you're getting it. Try to see if there's any hormonal imbalance, or if there's anything wrong with the diet. That's why you're getting it. Secondly, you need to use a sunscreen. So that is one of the most important things, because sometimes you're not using proper skin protection and sun protection. You need to use a good sunscreen no matter what treatment you choose. And the third thing before I conclude is that combine therapies. Combine your creams, your oral medicines, and your procedures, and that's how you can keep melasma at bay. Make sure that even after it goes away, melasma is something that comes back very soon. So make sure you use a maintenance cream, like maybe even vitamin C serum. Just make sure that you use something as maintenance for a long time to keep it at bay, so that doesn't keep reoccurring again and again. Okay. So thank you everyone for joining us today, and hopefully see you soon. If you have any further questions, I have my own Facebook page, my Instagram page, and you can search for me by Dr. Manjot and Dr. Manjot's clinic. Dr. Manjot, I'm present in Jalandhar, Punjab. And if you all are present there, you all can come and visit me too. I'll be happy to help. Thank you so much. I'm still figuring how to end this live.